Good afternoon, welcome to FA Cup Live for our only FA Cup action in round 5 this Sunday afternoon. Yesterday we watched Manchester City, the beaten finalists, beat Plymouth by 3-1 at the Etihad Stadium, coming from 1-0 down to become victors. Also yesterday, Aston Villa, Crystal Palace, Preston and Bournemouth all booked their places into the quarter-finals, and this afternoon it took them a long while, the very end of extra time, but Brighton have knocked out Newcastle at St James's Park by 2-1. Danny Welbeck, who won the league game in midweek, wins the cup game at the weekend for Brighton. And they're through to the quarterfinals. Newcastle, just the one cup final for them this season. They're out of the FA Cup. This afternoon, we watch Manchester United, the holders, who take on a Fulham side who they met in this competition 2 years ago, and it was an absolute chaos fest in the second half between these two, seeing Fulham have 2 players sent off and their manager here at Old Trafford in a real collapse of that FA Cup tie. This season, they've been narrowly beaten in both league fixtures against Manchester United, home and away, by 1-0. Today, they'll be hoping they can score against Manchester United and knock them out and deny them the chance to defend their trophy. Tomorrow evening we'll watch the final matchup of this round, an all-Premier League tie at the City Ground as Nottingham Forest take on Ipswich. That's at 7:30 tomorrow. 6 teams already confirmed for the quarterfinals, and only one of them is not a Premier League side. That will be Preston, the only side remaining that isn't a Premier League team. We'll lose another 2 Premier League sides in the final 2 rounds of all Premier League ties. But it's Manchester United, the holders, against a Fulham side who've only got to an FA Cup final once in their history. It was 50 years ago this year, and they were beaten by West Ham in 1975 at Wembley. Let's have a look at the 2 teams then for this one. Starting with Manchester United, Andre Onana continues in goal. A back 3/back 5 of Noussair Mazraoui, Lenny Yoro, I believe that's right, Lenny Yoro, Harry Maguire and Matthijs de Ligt in the defence, with Diogo Dalot at left wing back. Manuel Ugarte and Christian Eriksen are in midfield. Bruno Fernandes further forward alongside Joshua Zirkzee, and Rasmus Højlund leading the line. On the bench for United this afternoon, Grazic, Murdoch, Heaven, Lindelof, Garnacho, Casemiro and Obi Martin. Just 7 players on the Manchester United bench, with a lot of players out injured, and of course Patrick Dorgu out suspended. That's a mistake on the graphic. He's not here this afternoon. For Fulham this afternoon, they start with Bernd Leno in goal, a back 4 of Timothy Castagne, Joachim Andersen, Calvin Bassey and Anthony Robinson, the captain. In midfield, Sasa Lukic and Sander Berge, with Andreas Pereira, the former Manchester United player, in the 10. Adama Traore off the right, Alex Iwobi off the left, and the winner, the man who scored the winner for Fulham in midweek, Rodrigo Muniz, gets a start up front. On the bench for Fulham, Benda, Cuenca, Diop, Sessegnon, Kearney, Reid, Smith Rowe, Willian, Al Jimenez. So there's bodies off the bench for Fulham if they need to make those changes later on. A strong side for the visitors here, as the Cottagers look to upset Manchester United in defence of their FA Cup title. A Manchester United side battered and bruised, and hoping they can come through the wars to keep this trophy theirs. Kick-off at Old Trafford between Manchester United and Fulham is next. Good afternoon and welcome. Ruben Amorim and Marco Silva, of course the 2 managers. Our referee this afternoon is Stuart Atwell. Of course there is VAR in action of all the round 5 games, and semi-automated offsides, which we saw in the early game this afternoon between Newcastle and Brighton, work to perfection, really, denying Newcastle that late winning goal in normal time. And VAR had its say and got the correct decision, and we will see the continuation of the announcements from the referees that started in the Carabao Cup semi-finals back in January, announcing all VAR decisions to the whole stadium. That's all the technical stuff out of the way. Now time to get down to the footballing business, and Man United will be attacking the Stretford end in the first half, so Fulham certainly won the toss. And Fulham will get us underway. Kicking from left to right in their white shirts, black shorts. Man United in their red shirts and white shorts. And we're underway then here at Old Trafford for what will be a huge clash between a side in Manchester United hoping that this is their own, well, mainly their only positive of their season and trying to defend their FA Cup title. A Fulham side who might be amongst the pack of teams that might think they might make a sneaky late run to the final if they can knock out Manchester United, one of the favourites to win this competition. And who's going to deny them next? There's a cluster of teams that could pick up this trophy come the end of the season. Of course, Manchester City will remain, along with Manchester United, as long as they're in it, the two main favourites to win this competition because of their history in it. But of course, there is that cluster of Premier League sides that would really suggest why not? Why couldn't they win it this year? And Fulham, if they are going to try and go for that type of objective, they have a tough task here this afternoon, albeit Old Trafford not been a fortress for Manchester United this season. More recently though, it's been a little bit more palatable for them, having won 3 of their last 4 home games. Only defeat in those last 4 was against Crystal Palace, but their previous 5 they'd won just 1 here, which was a late winner against Southampton. He lost 4 out of 5 at the end of December and the start of January. Far from a fortress, Old Trafford this season. Here is Robinson down the left hand side for Iwobi. Fulham starting to get a move going. Manchester United well broke up with Fernandes tracking back, and De Ligt gives it back to Onana. Had a bit of a head scratcher in midweek. Him and Patrick Dorgu got on each other's way and got Ipswich that early opening goal. Ultimately, Manchester United winning that game by 3-2, but of course Patrick Dorgu got sent off in that match and is now not here this afternoon due to that red card. He is suspended. And the new January signing, Patrick Dorgu. Here is Yoro. Back to Harry Maguire. Of course, a lot's been made about Manchester United and their real woes under Ruben Amorim. There's not been anywhere better, practically worse than Erik ten Hag. As Dalot gets the ball in. Well cleared away that time by Joachim Andersen. So throw in ticking quickly. Yoro down the left side for Dalot again. Takes on his man in Castagna, and Dalot tries the cross, which was blocked by Castagna and kept in. Timothy Castagna working hard to beat Eriksson. Now Traore, edge of his own box. Gets a bit tangled. Does well though. And gives it back to Bassi. That's one thing, one of the positives about Fulham, how strong they are on the ball. As I say that though, they've given it away and it will be. Well, one back. And now Pereira trying to find the run of Muniz, but well covered over by Harry Maguire, who got back and gets Man United back in possession. Fulham, well known for their ability to hold on to the ball this season. That's why they've been competitive against top teams. Certainly testing the very best. But Manchester United not been one of those they've had joy against this season. As I said, failed to score in their 2 Premier League meetings this season. Lost 1-0 on both occasions. Home and away did Fulham against today's opponents. The last victory did come on this ground back in February of last year. He won 2-1. Calvin Bassey and Alex Iwobi either side of a Harry Maguire goal gave Fulham the victory and the 3 points that day. The 97th minute winner from Alex Iwobi that conceded the points for Fulham. It was Man United that were pushing for the winner. Ended up Fulham are the ones that got it in the end. That is Fulham's only win against Manchester United. Quite a long time as Dalot edge of the box here, trying to cross it in. Well defended in there by Sasa Lukic, who got his body in the way. Robinson. Space on that left-hand side for Diogo Dalot to exploit on the overlap. So that's a poor ball there, but Bruno Fernandes takes no risks and puts it out for the Fulham throw-in. As I was saying, that win in February of last year for Fulham is their only win against Manchester United since they beat them at Craven Cottage back in December 2009 was the last time they had beaten them before that. Just one win in 15 years against Manchester United, home and away, and in all competitions. Bassey. Will be back to Calvin Bassey. Could the argument be made this afternoon that Manchester United might want to set off a little bit more, allow Fulham to have a little bit more possession, because that's where they find their joy this season. Manchester United, when they come up against sides that want to dominate the ball, seem to do a lot better. The likes of Man City and Liverpool, two of the main examples of their best performances of this season, and that's when they had very little of the ball. Here is Bassey. And Traore tries to go with a cross. Far too close to Onana. And it was a decent effort of a whip ball from Adama Traore. Given time and space to try and measure one, but just angled it too far towards the Manchester United goalkeeper. Certainly hasn't been a pillar of strength this season. Andre Onana had his critics for some of his performances this season, as of nearly everybody in the Manchester United squad, and probably deservedly so with the way they're playing. Sitting all the way down in 14th in the Premier League, still yet to get the double figures of wins this season. They are only one of 8 teams to have not won more than 9 games in the Premier League this season. 12 teams have more than 9 wins, so double figures. Manchester United are not one of them. Just 9 wins from their 27 Premier League games so far. 1 in 3 this season. Here's Lukic. Castagna finding Traore on the right hand side up against Dalot. Chops inside. Traore still has the ball. Gives it back to Anderson. Now out wide to Lukic again. Fulham certainly wanting to hold more of the ball in these early moments. And looking to be patient in their build-up. Leno tiptoeing forward. Plays it into Anderson, who tries to break the lines to find Muniz, who is being held slightly, but no foul, as the ball was momentarily won back there by United. Given back to Fulham again for Sander Berge. Pereira breaking down the left-hand channel, trying to find a teammate. Muniz keeps it alive. Traore now, edge of the box. Adama Traore up against Dalot. Traore gets the cross in, deep to the back post. Muniz was up, and Ugarte got a clear of danger, but Castagna keeps the pressure on. Bassey. It's good adjustment from Fulham. Once the square ball at the edge of the box didn't work out, Muniz did really well to adjust and just keep the pressure on, feed the ball back wide to an open man, and just sustain that attack. Calvin Bassey now finding Joachim Anderson out wide to Castagna. And to go for the little intricate passes as Adama Traore Does squeeze that one through the legs of Eriksson. Berger evades trouble of Xerxes. Finding Iwobi. Down the left-hand side it comes. Threads it through. Robinson on the overlap. Gets in behind his fullback in Mazraoui. Tries to attempt the cross. And the height on it directs it straight into the hands of Andre Onana. That's the threat for Fulham. Anthony Robinson. Certainly, you would say left back is a position this season that has been no real clear candidate for player of the season in said position, but I'd say Anthony Robinson would be high up in the list of candidates for left back of the season. The 27-year-old American has the armband for Fulham today. Started 26 of their 27 Premier League games this season. Hasn't scored, but has 10 assists, the joint second most in the Premier League. Of course, Mo Salah is tearing up those records, so being second best is still quite a good achievement this season. And 10 assists from a left back is still quite remarkable. That's a lovely switch ball. Dalot finding Eriksson, crosses in. Xerxes too high. It's better for Manchester United as Fernandes keeps it alive on the right hand side, cuts it back. The shot taken, and the good save by Bernd Leno. Parries it wide for the corner. That was much more exciting from Manchester United's point of view. Lovely switch ball to Dalot. Kept it alive. Eriksson's crossfield ball just too far ahead of Xerxes. It's kept alive on the right hand side. And as it's cut back to Bruno Fernandes, he has the shot. And the sheer ferocity of the shot. Bernd Leno can only parry it wide. Corner delivered in. Headed away by Bassi. And Iwobi tries it further clear. But Mazraoui gets back in control of it. Fernandes with an interesting switch ball. Castagna got his head to that one. And just kept in there by Adama Traore. It's a nice little spell for Manchester United there. Their first real positive moment of the game. Well, they've really tested Fulham. But once again, Fulham having a lot of the ball. Manchester United just trying to go a bit more direct when they get it. In some instances it is causing a threat because there are spaces to exploit. Here's Andreas Pereira on the turn. Gets past his man. Couldn't get past the second man in De Ligt. And now Eriksson feeds it into the channel for Højlund to chase. Up against Anderson. Højlund gets the ball. Drags Anderson wide. Looking for options. Finds the run of Eriksson. Kind of trips over himself. Now Bassi gets it to Castagna. Pereira gives it away cheaply again. Dalot. Infield to Fernandes. Cross now to De Ligt and Ugarte. And back to Lenny Yoro. But more energy about Manchester United. Dalot down the left channel for Eriksson. And Eriksson's low cross and Højlund. Hit wide. Much better. Dalot with a low hard cross into the box, and Rasmus Højlund gets the better of his centre back in Calvin Bassi. It's a good cross by Eriksson. It's a left footed effort. He was wide of the post anyway from his positioning, Rasmus Højlund. Very difficult one to do any better with. But it was better for Manchester United again. Feeding the centre forward. Something they've been accused of really lacking this season. The service to their attackers. Certainly centrally anyway. Speaking of, Xerxes there. Getting caught in possession but wins it back comfortably. Castagna does well, committed against Eriksson. And Fulham on the move. Robinson down the left side. Spins it past Fernandes. Space for Iwobi, who, unchallenged, uncontested, couldn't keep the ball in play. Throw in to Manchester United. Architect of their own downfall there for them. Alex Iwobi running the ball straight out of play. Long kick by Fernandez. A bouncing ball in behind. Hoyland up against two. Rasmus Hoyland. Well, blocked off by Anderson, who got a foot in. Bassi will hoof it. Muniz with a nice flick on header, and it will be battling Mazraoui. Went down. Referee said no foul as Man United play on here. Mazraoui in between the lines, finding Xerxes. He's 1-2, a bit much to Fernandez there, who slid in and was maybe a little bit late on that one, trying to rescue the inaccurate pass. And the referee's going to give a free kick here to Fulham. Well, Fulham needed a winner in midweek. Rodrigo Muniz, who is rewarded with a start tonight after scoring the winning goal early into the second half against Wolves at Molineux. Means Fulham have won 4 of their last 5 games in all competitions, and 3 of the last 4 Premier League games. Their only defeat was at home to Crystal Palace on the February the 22nd. Manchester United are one of only 3 defeats Fulham have suffered this calendar year so far. West Ham, Palace and Manchester United, the only 3 teams Fulham have lost to in 2025. The only 3 teams they've lost to dating back to November 2024. So quite a uptick in form, and certainly Marco Silva getting a lot out of his players in the second half of the season. The West Ham defeat, their only defeat away from home since that date. Nice throw in by Dalot. Eriksson trying to sneak round the goalkeeper. Leno makes a good save. As a Iwobi trying to battle. Much better on the ball from Manchester United. Dealing with those battles well. De Ligt. Back to Fernandez. Back to Harry Maguire. Direct towards Xerxes. Heavy touch by Xerxes, given away now. Nicely won by Bassi, who strided forward. Finding Iwobi wide left. Trying to drive in field. Fabulously marshalled by Mazraoui, and a free kick for Manchester United. Again, Joshua Xerxes there. Maybe a bit lucky that Fulham couldn't take more of a chance on the counter-attack, because counter-attack certainly was on. Eriksson. Euro. Finds the switch ball for De Ligt in space. He switches it back out to the left side, and Dalot, it was on the overlap, just couldn't chest it down under control. Goes out for a Fulham throw-in. It's been a lot more incisive for Manchester United so far in these first 18.5 minutes. A lot more energy, a lot more vision, a lot more intention about their play. A lot of the time we've seen this season, a lot of Manchester United's play has been off the cuff and kind of on a fling, in a sense. They're not really thinking ahead. They're thinking about the next pass rather than the play overall. Whereas today it seems like there's a real intent on what they want to do. They want to get the ball wide to Diogo Dalot in space on that left-hand side and put crosses into the box. And so far, there's a clear vision, a clear identity to what they want to do, and they seem to understand it at this moment in time. Just seem a lot more energetic at this minute in time to Manchester United. Still 0-0, and a long way to go in this tie. There's a free kick there given against Sasa Lukic. Bruno Fernandes, the one fouled. And about the halfway line. getting a shot of Miran Muslic, who we watched his Plymouth side yesterday take the lead against Manchester City, but end up losing by 3-1 to the Premier League champions, knocking out Brentford and Liverpool on their way to that 5th round tie. Championship Plymouth is here to watch Manchester United and Fulham play here this afternoon. Given away by United there by Mazraoui. Munith thought he was pushed by De Ligt there. Referee waved it away as Manchester United have the ball again. Eriksson round the corner for Xerxes. Lovely little turn. Feeds it wide to Dalot. Bodies arriving. Diogo Dalot. Can he get past his man? And Castagna blocked the first time, blocked the second. And the cross from Diogo Dalot is far too deep. Goal kick. Anderson swinging a ball into midfield. Andres Pereira tried to cut it back to his captain and Robinson put too much on it. And Robinson couldn't keep it in play. A couple of sloppy passes from Fulham. Not at their sharp best at the minute. As Mazraoui takes this throw, finding Xerxes. Mazraoui. Xerxes again tries to force one through. Easily retrieved by Calvin Bassey. Here's Castagna. Cross to Lukic. Now Bassey. Trying to target an angled ball to Iwobi, but again well closed down by De Ligt, and Xerxes ushered it out, but didn't get the last touch. Goal kick. There's a good aggression about Manchester United. When Fulham are trying to play those longer balls, those kind of more angled passes further up the field, just a bit more aggressive on their attack defensively with their defenders at the minute, pushing up a little bit better, squeezing the space, causing the Fulham attackers just a few problems at the minute. We've barely really got up the field so far, Fulham. Xerxes and Højlund there almost linking up perfectly. Højlund's return ball not finding his teammate. And in the end, Xerxes gives away a free kick. Robinson. Pereira down the left side for Iwobi. Robinson on the overlap. Flicked round the corner. Robinson does well. And that ball from Iwobi takes on Mazraoui. Cuts it back. Now finding Iwobi, who will cross it. And close to Onana, who can gather. Rare attack there from Fulham in these first 23 minutes, and it's once again come to a pretty miserly ending, shall we say. The fact that two of their only real chances in and around the Man United box have both been easily, comfortably gathered by the United goalkeeper. Barely got up the field so far. Here's Onana. He goes long. Header won by Anderson in the air. Nicely finding Traore. Although they're going to pull it back here. Free kick for Manchester United. And I think it might have been just a high boot as he tried to take the ball down. And I don't think he connected with the head of Diogo Dalot, but the referee giving it for being dangerously high. Contact or not, and it is a free kick. Of course, we certainly saw the more dangerous side of things yesterday lunchtime in that game at Selhurst Park. That's given away cheaply by De Ligt. Andres Pereira breaking free, brought down by Manuel Ugarte. And he's going to get a yellow card and a free kick to Fulham in and around the edge of the box here. That was really a bit naive from Manuel Ugarte, thinking he's going to try and nick the ball and ends up hitting the man. And you're going to get nothing other than a yellow card for that type of challenge. And if Manchester United get through, Mamadou Ugarte will not be in the quarter-final squad. He will be suspended due to yellow card accumulation in this season's competition. So he will not feature in a quarter-final if Manchester United progress due to that yellow card. So a free kick here for Fulham. Pereira and Lukic are over it. And I think Andres Pereira's going to walk away, which is very rare to see. It's usually Andres Pereira that takes these, but it's going to be Sasa Lukic who's over it. Good area, round about the edge of the box, bit to the left of goal, about 23 yards out. Certainly a right footer's effort. And Sasa Lukic over it for Fulham. Barely had a kick in and around the box of United, and Lukic hits the wall. Rebounds back out, and the shot from Robinson is miles away. Goal kick. Bit anticlimactic really from Fulham. And Marco Silva a bit disappointed at that. Really good opportunity. Fizzled out once again. Dalot does really well in battling Lukic there down the left-hand channel, and Dalot, nice turn from Højlund under control. Given away though from Eriksson. No foul there against Lukic as he tried to win the ball back. Fernandez linking up with Xerxes, his pass was intercepted by Anderson, but Maguire, he gives it away now. Neither team want to keep the ball. And then the ball, the man gone down there was Bruno Fernandes, and fouled by Adama Traore as he tried to win the ball back from his heavy first touch. Good game of hot potato there for a second between the two teams. Neither side wanted to keep the ball there for about 10-15 seconds. Just gifting it back to each other, and it all comes to a halt with Manchester United's free kick here in the half of Fulham. It's a good distance away. It's Christian Eriksen that's over it. Fulham set their defensive line at the edge of the D, on the edge of the box. Eriksen will try one from this sort of angle. Eriksen, right-footed, fizzed round the back. Maguire was up, but well defended, and the flag was up anyway for offside against Harry Maguire, which, quite interestingly, wasn't given against Harry Maguire when it should have been in round 4, of course, that late winner against Leicester, where he was quite clearly offside. No VAR to help out on that day. That's why Manchester United are here at this moment in time. Slice of luck. Well spotted that time by the assistant, who called for offside. Bassey, wide to Robinson, who will track and find the run of Andres Pereira, who chests it down well. Gets it away from Maguire. Iwobi. Quick little footwork, but again, tricks himself. And again, couldn't keep the ball in play. I get why he wants to play along the sidelines, but that's twice already. He's just uncontested, put the ball out of play. Alex Iwobi down that side, and if I was him, it'd maybe come a yard or two further infield, just to try and avoid that sort of situation from now on. Through into Manchester United. Mazraoui will take. Xerxes ball to Maguire, given away. Lukic now. Castagna. Fulham not really in a hurry to get forward when they get the ball. Lukic finding Traore under pressure on the turn. Adama Traore does well, finding Muniz. That was a little better, although Rodrigo Muniz's ball wide to Castagna, a little behind his fullback that had a play. There's a couple of sloppy moves. Anthony Robinson there has to get his head to that ball to deny Mazraoui a clean run through. Out for another throw in. Back to Maguire. Gives it back to Onana. Bit of pressure here. Euro stepping in. And does well under pressure, finds Matthijs de Ligt. Mazraoui. Fernandes back to de Ligt. 30 minutes gone at Old Trafford. Man United 0, Fulham 0. That's lovely. Little flick from Mazraoui. And tracking the run, finding the run of Højlund in behind, who was well marshalled in the end by Bassi, who used his quality and physicality to win the ball. And the referee was playing an advantage for a second there as Bassi was taken out by Mazraoui. And he's just going to pull it back here for a free kick. It's fully committed from Calvin Bassi here. Spots, knows that Mazraoui's going to play that ball in behind for Højlund. Steps across really well, confidently. Steps out with the ball down the left channel. And the ball well gone by the time Mazraoui makes contact with his opposite number. He ends up flying over the top of him. Does Bassi. And a free kick to Fulham. Bassi goes long with a free kick, flicked by Pereira, finding Muniz, who's done really well in a tight space there, finding Traore wide on the right, goes for the early cross, easily blocked by Eriksson, and now Fernandes forced one right back to Fulham. Lukic, Castagna, back in field to Pereira, lovely little link up with Lukic now from Castagna. Berger. Iwobi. Further infield here, Alex Iwobi. Darts one out to the right side for Traore. He's hugging the touchline. Up against Dalot. Back to Castagna, who will whip one deep. Oh, and Onana. Oh, wasn't as comfortable a catch that time as he kind of butterfingers on the first catch. We'll see it again. Traore cuts it back. Castagna goes for the deep cross. And as the ball arrives into the box, Harry Maguire just left it. Onana wasn't ready to save and slid out of his hands. And luckily, there was no one there to pounce. And he could gather it the second time. But less than convincing that time from the United goalkeeper. He's had his fair share of head and hands moments this season as he kicks it long. Header won by Lukic, brought down by Pereira, battling with Fernandes, and it's going to be a foul on Andreas Pereira by Bruno Fernandes. Another Fulham free kick. Well, I gotta be totally honest. So far, the way that things have played out, Manchester United have been the better side, but I'd say all down to Fulham's passiveness, really, so far. I've been a little bit slow in possession, Fulham, and nowhere near intense as I expected them to be. They do have a free kick here, though. Sasa Lukic over it again. A lot further out than his earlier effort. Lays it off to Pereira. Over the top. Too deep, but Mazraoui taking no risks. Gets a touch to the ball and puts it out for the corner. And this will be Fulham's first corner of the game, and they're facing a side who have the joint most goals conceded from corners from Premier League sides this season. 11 goals conceded from corners from Manchester United. Only Southampton and Wolves have matched that record this season. Right-footed delivery by Pereira into the box. And again, easily gathered by Onana. That's the third cross out of 4 for Fulham today that Onana's just had no bother in gathering. Completely uncontested. Just over 10 minutes of the first half to go. Still a deadlocked at 0-0, but I have to say, Man United looking the more promising of the two sides so far, but anything's possible. That's a strange header by Berger, straight to Ugarte. Again finds that switch ball to Diogo Dalot. Space now down the left side. Doesn't want to go forward, has to turn back to Lenny Yoro. Now back to Dalot. Infield to Fernandez, and trying to link it up. And it comes off the chest of the United man, and out for a Fulham throw-in. A little bit of apprehensiveness there. Diogo Dalot wasn't completely convinced in going forward that time, and just came back and maybe took the sting out of the United attack. Ended up fizzling out to a throw-in to Fulham. Not major involvement there as Muniz chested that one straight out of play. Long throw by Dalot. Down by Xerxes, but again won by Fulham in the tight areas. Lukic with a nice ball. Berger gives it back to Anthony Robinson. Anderson. Bassi back to Joachim Anderson. Go for the long one over the top. Looking for the run of Traore. Battling Dalot, and Traore comes out on top on that occasion. Adama Traore wide on the right hand side. Bodies arriving. The cross was well below par. Hello, Xerxes in another planet there as Pereira's ball. Cleared away by De Ligt. Just me, Joshua Xerxes was far from concentrated on that ball. Almost gifting Fulham a cheap opportunity. So here they're on the ball again. Lukic. Bassi. Robinson. Down the left side is Iwobi. Robinson on that underlapping run. Iwobi will go for the cross, and the header from Sasa. Lukic arriving. No one tracking the run, and the header was off target. That was a great opportunity. Spotted the space. No one in Manchester United colours wanted to track the runner. Diogo Dalot spots it, but he doesn't get anywhere near Sasa Lukic, who's as free as anything in the Manchester United box. And if he gets that on target, he would be favourite to find the back of the net there. That's a big chance. From literally nothing to almost having a gift of an opportunity in the Man United box. Pereira on the turn. Closed down by Fernandez. Fairly won it back, the United captain. Mazraoui lets it run. De Ligt carries wide. Tries to go for the early cross. Hits it off Anthony Robinson. And wins Manchester United a corner. Smart play that from Matthijs de Ligt. Knew he wasn't going to get the run on Robinson. Decided just to settle for the corner. Bruno Fernandes to deliver this corner. Right hand side. Right footed delivery out swinging. Headed away by Muniz, in the follow up from the edge of the box from Ugarte. Deflected wide for a corner. Yeah, it was headed away in the box by Fulham Muniz, and it falls to Ugarte, who hits it first time on the edge of the D. And just deflects. It was always going wide. That little deflection keeps Man United on the attack. Another corner for Fernandes to deliver. This time from the left side. In swinger this time around the back post. Punched away by Leno. Ugarte fizzes it back in. Cleared away by Anderson. And the bouncing ball. Ugarte really well battling Alex Iwobi. Settled Manchester United into possession again. Yoro. Striding forward, finds Fernandez on the left flank. Goes for the early cross, and the header from Bassi was beaten to it by Joshua Zirkzee, who got a little flick on it. See this again. Good cross by Fernandez, threatening indeed. And as Bassi tried to get ahead of his man, it's Zirkzee that nips in just in time, but hits it well wide. No real threat for Bernd Leno. And Fulham get the goal kick. There are certainly opportunities and spaces for both teams. Certainly from crosses so far is where both have looked their most threatening. So far, no breakthrough. Fernandez. Mazraoui had to turn back. Still has a sea of white in front of him, but does really well to find Ugarte, although hits it straight at a Fulham player. Luckily has the coverage of De Ligt. It goes long into the Fulham box, and Bernd Leno came running, but Castagna was there to clear it away. That's a nice ball into the path of Andreas Pereira now, as Fulham on the break down the right hand side. Pereira blocked well by Lenny Yoro, and Yoro can turn defence into attack again, although he's beaten to it by Lukic. Bodies on the floor, and it will be a Fulham throw-in on this right hand side. Decent effort. First real time we've actually seen Fulham try and break in behind Manchester United, and Andreas Pereira beaten for pace by Lenny Yoro on that occasion. Maybe just took a little bit too long to try and find the cross. Castagna, space to get forward. Lukic. Back to Anderson. Now Bassi. Finding Iwobi, who's come a lot deeper. Lukic. Berger. Lukic again, who goes for that dangerous one across field, and Bassi was committed and won the ball fairly against Højlund. Had to, as that was an absolute hospital pass from Sasa Lukic. Muniz. That's really poor. Sorry, it was Pereira actually that played that pass, and it was far too far behind Anthony Robinson. He was already on his bike down the left side, and Pereira was trying to feed it and just massively underhit it. Just a lot of sloppiness in this first half from both teams, really. There's no real consistency from either team so far. It's really a battle of who's the worst of the two in terms of their performances so far. And right now, they can't be separated. Long ball forward for Fulham. Muniz was the target. Maguire heads clear. Put down by Lukic. Finding Castagna. Lukic. Round the corner for Berger. Has space. Out wide now to Traore. In behind. Following the run of Castagna, who hits it off Bruno Fernandes and gets Fulham a corner. It was better from Fulham. Intricate play in between the lines down that right channel, and Castagna made that underlapping run. Added the extra body. Fernandes had to cover, but they win the corner, which Pereira will take. The last one lacked any real fizz or threat. Can Pereira do something differently with the outswinger here? Whips it in, headed away by Maguire. A bit awkwardly that from Lukic to head it. Well, chested down by Pereira wide. Here is Berga, who will usher it out for another corner as we hit the 45-minute mark, and Fulham maybe ending the half a little bit more threateningly. A chance to whip another ball into the box. Pereira will have another shot at it. Right-footed delivery. Flicked on and headed on and in by Calvin Bassey. The flick-on header. Find the header, Calvin Bassey, who put it well past Andre Onana. And just like Leicester did in round 4, the visitors of Old Trafford take the lead before half-time. Sloppy, inconsistent, lacking energy, but they're certainly clinical when they get in the right areas. And Calvin Bassey, the man to give Fulham the lead. The reigning holders of this trophy will once again have to come from behind to try and keep their defence of their title alive. First real cross that's caused major concern, and it's just a lack of concentration from Manchester United. They don't deal with the first header. It flicked on perfectly to Calvin Bassey at the back post. It bounced up to perfection, and he just flicked it to the far left corner, well past a diving Andre Onana. And a Fulham side who, as I said, have been inconsistent, sloppy at times in this first half. They have found it when they needed to, and they have the lead. And there is the end of the first half. It's deja vu for Manchester United in the FA Cup at home. Leicester were the better side of the first half in round 4 and took the lead into half-time. And Ruben Amorim's side seeing the same result come of a first half here in the FA Cup against Fulham. Marco Silva's side with a narrow advantage at the break, but it really wasn't a blockbuster of a first half at Old Trafford. But it's Fulham who have the lead at the break. Manchester United 0, Fulham 1. Analysis on the way next. Welcome back to FA Cup Live, half-time at Old Trafford, and as I said, it's deja vu for Manchester United. They were behind at half-time in round 4, and they're behind at half-time in round 5 against Premier League opposition. Fulham taking the lead just before the break, literally seconds before the break. Calvin Bassey's headed goal has Marco Silva's side in front at the break at Old Trafford, and it's becoming really unsurprising in a way that Manchester United don't have the advantage come half-time at Old Trafford. But they certainly have the power of a comeback, as they did against Leicester, and they'll see if they can do that again in the second half. But a first half that really overall lacked any sort of real quality up until the end of the game, or at the end of the half, sorry. It was the first 45 minutes, up until actually the 1 minute of additional time where there was the quality found by Fulham, that led to the goal. But other than that, there was a lack of any real quality in the final third from both teams. It was just a basic first 45 minutes of both teams just giving each other the ball back, really. You know, really sloppy play at times in between the lines, not really linking up passes, players not on the same page as each other, just doing different things. And you could probably make a highlights reel out of how bad the first half was in terms of the quality of the two teams, and it is quite surprising because I said at one point in that first half, Fulham were a lot less aggressive than I expected them to be in the first half. They were very passive, very kind of defensive focused rather than anything else. They were just passing the ball around the back and not trying to find the runners, not trying to find their threats, which there are quite a lot of. And I think a couple of their passes were really wayward, really poor, and really lacking in any sort of quality in the first half, up until maybe the last couple of minutes of the first half, when they started to get on the ball a little bit more and got a couple of corners that really caused Man United threat, and then of course scoring the goal. But the same goes for the home side as well. Manchester United have probably been a bit better defensively, a bit better on the ball, but when it came to the final third, other than really a couple of crosses from Diogo Dalot, they haven't really caused major concern to Fulham. Bernardo, probably one really scary moment for the Fulham goalkeeper was when Bruno Fernandes had a shot that he really didn't deal with very well and ended up conceding a corner. But other than that, the first half was really lacking in quality from both teams, and the fact that Fulham lead at the half is just the power of set pieces, really. And once again, Manchester United concede from a corner for the 12th time this season. And honestly, are you really surprised? We will analyse more of the first half in just a moment, and we'll also look back at what we've already seen this weekend. Do stay with us. Welcome back. Right, back to the analysis of that first half. As I was saying, up until the goal, there was just a real lack of quality from both teams when it came to the final third. And an example of that is the fact that we only had 3 shots on target in the whole first half. Fulham hadn't had a shot on target up until they scored in the first half. Man United with 2 shots on target, that Bruno Fernandes effort from distance, and then the only other one was from the set piece from Christian Eriksen. But other than those two, nothing really causing concern for Bernd Leno. And I think overall, I would say, other than the goal, obviously, because Manchester United trail, but in terms of their performance and their play, they haven't been awful. I think they've been better on the ball, which is a bit of a surprise, to be honest. Their pressing's a little bit better. They have a bit more energy when they come forward, a little bit more invention. You know, they understand what they need to do a little bit more in this game, and I think that's mainly it's basics, but Man United haven't been doing the basics in recent weeks and months, and you know that's where mainly they've had their downfall. They've had the quality, they've had some great moments with great players, and then that comeback against Everton and all of that. But they still didn't do the basics right. They were kind of dug out of a hole by the individual quality of the team that they have. There's not a massive amount of it, let's be completely honest, because of the players on the field, but the likes of Bruno Fernandes, who can produce a magic moment in a game of football, can turn you around and maybe create a bit of a false dawn that you are being a better side and you are playing a lot better football. But I gotta say, if you to make sense of that first half, yes, they're behind, but their performance has been a little bit better. I think their defence has looked a little better physically. I think De Ligt, Maguire and Euro have looked a lot better physically in that first half. I think the duels, even all around the field, early and on the ground, I think Man United have been a little bit more confident in those duels because they believe that they're going to win the ball in a sense where they really haven't recently, and they've kind of had that lack of kind of energy and desire to get to the ball as much. I think their press has been a lot better in motion with that, and it's not just individual press, it's a team press. They're closing spaces, they're not allowing Fulham to have an outball, to have a free pass, to kind of have a free man on the field that's occupying space and just an easy outball from the press. They are closing as a team, and and at times in that first half really did look a threat, winning the ball back in good areas. I think the lack of counter-attacking quality let them down, as well as the fact that when it came to it, it's been a similar theme for Manchester United not taking their chances when they come, albeit there hasn't been many, but once again not taking them. Fulham, on the other hand, in the end, eventually did take the chance that came their way. As I said, their only shot on target of the first half is their goal. And once again, Manchester United find themselves in a similar position where at half-time, in an FA Cup tie, they have to come back and create this kind of siege mentality going into the second half, where they're behind. Fulham maybe a bit more confident, come out with a little bit more of a boisterous energy in the second half and feel that they could go on and maybe try and find a second. And for Manchester United, they need to exploit that and try and find the runners in behind, and their counter-attacking quality that they have in this team, because arguably that's their best quality, is their counter-attacking ability, and try and capitalise upon the spaces that Fulham might create in trying to find a second goal. But we will see what produces in the second half. But once again, as I said, Man United in a similar position. It's not like this is a new task for them. Many's a time they've had to come from behind and try and win games of football. They were 2-0 down against Everton, came back to 2-2. They were 1-0 down against Leicester in the FA Cup. They won 2-1, albeit controversially, but they won 2-1. And a number of times this season they've had to come from behind. And they're going to try and have to do it again if they're going to progress to the quarter-finals. Right, the second half there very, very shortly. But we've already had 6 games this weekend, from Friday night and yesterday, in the FA Cup. 6 out of the 8 teams for the quarter-finals decided. Aston Villa left it late to beat Championship Cardiff on Friday night. Marco Asensio with a brace in the second half, cruising Villa in the end through to round 6, or the quarter-finals. It was a action-packed and crazy game between Crystal Palace and Millwall in that London derby yesterday lunchtime. Of course, the most remarkably awful red card that we've ever seen, that challenge from Liam Roberts on Jean-Philippe Mateta, and thankfully Jean-Philippe Mateta, who was admitted to hospital yesterday, was discharged yesterday evening after receiving 25 stitches to a laceration to his left ear, which of course we wish him all the very best in the speedy recovery in coming back. Jean-Philippe Mateta, who's having a real season at Crystal Palace. The Palace chairman Steve Parris said he'd never seen a worse challenge on a football pitch. I think I'd have to agree with that, but of course social media having their say as well. So a red card for Millwall. Palace then cruised into a 2-goal lead. Jaffa Tanganga with an own goal, and Daniel Munoz had them 2 up coming towards half-time before Wes Harding got a late goal to make it a little less comfortable for Crystal Palace against 10-man Millwall. But Eddie Nketiah, who has been questioned since joining Palace from Arsenal in the summer, he got the 3rd goal that sealed the deal and sent Palace through to the quarter-finals. Also yesterday, Preston and Burnley met in an Old Championship tie, the only Old Championship tie of the rounds, which for those of the romantics looking for teams other than Premier League sides in the FA Cup, certainly would not have enjoyed that one, seeing one of the 2 Championship sides knocked out. Robbie Brady, Osmajic and Keane were the 3 scorers, and Preston eased their way past Burnley, a Burnley side who in the Championship terms have only conceded 9 goals this season, where they conceded a third of their season's goals yesterday in one single game against Preston North End, and knocked out of the FA Cup are the Premier League hopefuls. So Preston, the only Championship side left in the competition. It was an all-Premier League tie at the Vitality as well, as Bournemouth knocked out Wolves after a penalty shootout. 5-4 it finished on penalties. Back-to-back missed penalties for Wolves in the shootout meant they were being knocked out of this competition at the hands of a Bournemouth side who might be one of those cluster of teams that might sneakily hope that they could possibly get to a Wembley final in this competition. Of course, the semi-finals are at Wembley as well, so one more win for Bournemouth and they could be going to Wembley. Manchester City, well known to Wembley. They were in the last two FA Cup finals. They won against United on the first occasion, lost in the most recent FA Cup final, and they're trying to get all their way back there again to get revenge at Manchester City, knocking out Plymouth of the Championship. But it wasn't all plain sailing for the Premier League champions, who needed a little bit of top quality, shall we say, to get through. Toloviero opened the scoring for Plymouth. Nico O'Reilly, the youngster, got the leveller for City just before half-time. Into the second half, it was O'Reilly again that got the second before De Bruyne wrapped it up for the third. And at lunchtime today, it went all the way through 120 minutes at St James's Park between Newcastle and Brighton. And Brighton coming out the winners on that occasion. Danny Welbeck with a 114th minute winner to seal the deal. There was also red cards as Lamptey got a second yellow and Anthony Gordon was shown a straight red for violent conduct. It has been a drama-filled round 5. We've still a half of this game to go this afternoon and one more to come for you tomorrow night as Nottingham Forest take on Ipswich tomorrow 7:30. The draw for the quarterfinals will take place after the full-time whistle at Old Trafford this afternoon, and we'll tell you all the details about that before we leave you this afternoon. We'll have full results on all our socials as well afterwards. Right, second half at Old Trafford on the way next. Welcome back to FA Cup Live, second half at Old Trafford, on the way in just a moment as the players come back out onto the fields for the second 45, a half where Fulham are hoping to turn this lead into a big victory, only their second victory in 16 years against Manchester United. Man United looking to repeat the feat of round 4 in finding their way back from 1-0 down at the break to win by 2-1. We'll see, but I'm sure Marco Silva's expecting a better half from his team, albeit they lead at half-time, but they certainly were second best in that first half, and I'm sure the Fulham boss will be hoping for much better quality from his team, as will Ruben Amorim really in the final third. Both sides pretty poor in those areas in the first half. Taking their time to get us back up and running. And the referee does blow the whistle to kick off the second half. Reminder, Stuart Atwell is our referee. VAR is in action. And semi-automated offsides system that is being trialled at this round is in force as well. But the second half will be an interesting test on probably both teams really, in the fact that that's a lovely takedown by Rodrigo Muniz from a very high ball. Here is Traore. Again, not in a hurry to get forward, Fulham, but a test for Fulham in the fact that they do lead and they have to try and stave off what will be a half where Man United will throw caution to the wind. They've no choice. They are late trailing, and how they kind of deal with that, Fulham, but also from a Man United point of view of having to go to the well again and find a comeback and use and exert all their energy to avoid what would be a pretty disappointing result. Here's Traore down the right side. Up against Dalot, takes us on, man, and gets a cross in. I think there was a deflection on the way through, it was. And Fulham will get a corner. Nice work from Adama Traore. Not many times in that first half we really seen him take on his wing back. That time he did against Dalot and put the cross in. And got the deflection off Diogo Dalot, which wins Fulham a corner, the first of the half. Feeling a bit of pain there at Traore as he Took a real tumble off the fields. And Pereira to take this corner on the right hand side for Fulham. Right footed delivery, away by Ugarte. Got a clean header on that one. Robinson will spin it back wide for Pereira. Chested down well, flicked in behind for the run of Castagna, whose cross overhit, but the flag was going to go up anyway against the Fulham man Timothy Castagna, who just strayed offside when that ball was played to him by Pereira, and a free kick to Man United. Euro back to Onana. Bit more pressure from Fulham as Onana goes long. Header won by Lukic. Flicked on by Pereira. Muniz brings it down well. Couldn't keep the possession as Euro got it back to his goalkeeper again, who was thumping it long. Brought down by Fernandes. Now wide for Diogo Dalot. Attack for Manchester United. First of the half, really. Fernandes through the lines, linking up with Ericsson. Now the ball goes wide to Dalot. Trying to edge up across. Well blocked by Castagna. Get it again though, Dalot. Castagna battling. Puts it out for the throw-in. Expecting to see a little bit more aggression from both sides in the second half. Just up the tempo completely. Just raise their level. They were both below par in that first half, and there's no way they can be any worse than what the two of them were in that first 45. So expecting more quality in the second period. Hopefully more goals as well. Here's Højlund, as back, or facing his own goal, as he gave it back to Lenny Yoro and all the way back to Onana. De Ligt. Time and space on the ball here, Matthijs de Ligt. Try that switch ball. Lovely little fizz ball out to Dalot. Finding the run of Ericsson, who was well closed off by Joachim Andersen. Really well anticipated by Joachim Andersen. Stepping across in double quick time. Fernandes round the corner. Finding Ericsson. Back to his captain. Now Dalot. Takes on his man, and Castagna again gets something to that as the cross came in and Anderson cleared it away. Traore trying to bring the ball down. Well, dealt with again by Manchester United. Now Ugarte. Ericsson. Out wide to Mazraoui. No space down the channel, comes inside. Now there is space, and now there's a player down for Fulham. Castagna's header from the crossfield ball will put the ball out of play and allow Adama Traore to receive a bit of treatment. He's gone down off the ball, Traore. I think it might have been just on that earlier moment, whenever he did go off the field, when he won that Fulham corner early in the half. Just still feeling the effects of being basically thrown off a mini hill at Old Trafford at some pace. As we know, the famous dip, either at all areas of the field, on the perimeter, there's a bit of a dip, and if you're going at speed, it can be a pretty painful drop towards the advertising hoardings. Just seeing that moment again, he kind of just tangled his feet, and as he tumbled round, kind of held his right knee right away, and that's what he's getting checked at the moment. Adama Traore. Reminder for you that the quarter-final draw will be completed after the full-time whistle. That is whether we go to extra time, penalties, whatever. As soon as a winner is found in this one, that's when the draw will be completed shortly afterwards. The winner of this one will be ball number 4 in the draw. As there's a couple of changes eyeing up from a Manchester United point of view. And I think Traore's coming off as well. He's on his feet and he is able to walk off, but it's going to be the end of his afternoon. So Traore's coming off and Emile Smith-Rowe is going to be taking his place. I guess Smith-Rowe would go more centrally. Maybe Pereira could go wide right for Fulham. And Traore done and dusted, as Man United are going to make a couple of changes as well at the start of the half. As well, Victor Lindelof and Alejandro Garnacho are the two substitutes that are going to be coming on. Not many on the bench for United, 7 players on the bench, and a few of them, 1 or 2 youngsters amongst them. And these are the two of the senior guys, Lindelof and Garnacho. Manuel Ugarte going to be one of those coming off. He's going to be replaced by Garnacho. Had a little bit of extra pace in the final third. And the second substitution is going to see Lenny Yoro leave the field. And he's going to be replaced by Victor Lindelof. So straight swaps, really. Some extra attacking force for United and some fresh legs at the back to come on the field. And of course, Smith-Rowe on for Traore for Fulham. Yeah, I think try and add a different dynamic to this game. Both managers. Mazraoui. Trying to squeeze it through the lines to Xerxes. Well blocked off by Smith-Rowe. Gives it back to Bassi. Well closed down by Xerxes, but it will be a Fulham throw. Issue here from the throw-in. There's a bit of a foul in there. Man United will get a free kick. He didn't have the feed of it, which is fantastic. We were looking at the Man United manager when that happens. So that's great. But Man United do have a free kick in Fulham's half. Christian Eriksen will be the one that will take it. Right-footed delivery, whipped into the box, and just too much. A little bit too far ahead of Joshua Xerxes, who was the closest Man United player to the cross, and it goes bobbling out for a goal kick. Well, we know Manchester United have endured a historically awful campaign in the Premier League, with Ruben Amorim failing to inspire anything resembling a new manager bounce. Quite a flat involvement from Ruben Amorim since coming in charge, but they're actually on course for their lowest league finish since they were last relegated in the 73-74 season. Man United, as here's Muniz in behind, trying to feed it on to Smith-Rowe, too far ahead of him, and cleared away by De Ligt. Man United, as I said, on course for their lowest league finish since they were last relegated, 1973-74, which is 51 years ago. Long throw by Robinson. Up in the air was Muniz. That time he didn't win the header, but Eriksen's header went out of play, so Fulham will get a throw in further up the field this time. And despite their league form this season, the FA Cup's been a bit of a retreat from Manchester United, a holiday retreat really, this competition for them in recent years, getting to the final in the last 2 campaigns, losing one and winning the most recent of the 2 FA Cup finals. And United actually have been in 3 of the last 4 domestic cup finals. only final they weren't in was the Carabao Cup final last year. Oh, and the header there from Mazraoui, pretty tame from the cross, easily gathered by Leno. But as I was saying, 3 of the last 4 cup finals domestically Man United have been involved in. They've won 2 of them. Won the only Carabao Cup final they were in 2023 when they beat Newcastle 2-0. Of course, won that FA Cup final against Man City in the last summer. Lost the other final they were in against City the year before in the FA Cup. Smith Rowe linking up well with Muniz. Castagna now, Lukic under a bit of pressure. Castagna retreating back to Joachim Andersen. It's Man United, there the pressure is on, really. Fulham have the lead and they've got the advantage. They've got, at this minute in time, their name in the hat. Although a long way to go, but Man United have the pressure of having to try and exert themselves a little bit more and impose themselves in this game. So far, Fulham are just not cruising, but just complacent, just settled, contented with how things are going. Not really forcing the issue too much, and nor do they need to, really, Fulham. Bassey, who is the man at the moment that would be sending Fulham through to the quarterfinals. Calvin Bassey with his goal. Anderson through the lines, finding Smith Rowe on the half turn. Down the left channel he comes, drags out Eriksson with him. Has to go back to Bassey though. And he will give back to Anderson. All the way back to Leno. He will thump it long. Maguire does well to head it clear. Won by Lukic. Mazraoui with a header. Flicked away by Fernandez. But again, no real option there further forward. It's just a real wasted ball, although I thought they were going to pull it back there for a second. The crowd was certainly angling for something, wanting something, but the referee sees no problems as Fulham do have the ball. Anderson give that one away cheaply, but Fernandez's first time pass in the air. Again, just easily recovered by Fulham. Maybe the crowd just getting a bit disgruntled with passiveness from Manchester United at the start of the second half. Not as aggressive on their press as they were in the first, and it's a little bit sloppy at times, forcing the issue a little bit. Here is Victor Lindelof stepping in field. Xerxes round the corner, looking for the run of Garnacho. Dallo finding Garnacho. Again, nowhere to go but backwards. Lindelof. Cross now to De Ligt. His body's forward for United. Here's Mazraoui. Back to De Ligt again. Gives it wide again to Eriksson. Back to Maguire. As we hit the hour mark. Inside Old Trafford. Manchester United 0, Fulham 1. Garnacho with a run down the left channel. Whips one in. Bit too high that from Garnacho and out the other end for a Fulham throw, but a little bit better. I think one key point to make from that Leicester game, if we're trying to compare the two for United, they were in the similar position. And Garnacho came off the field, or came on the field, and had that little bit of extra energy, a little bit of extra quality in the final third that just kind of sparked Man United into life in that game, and absolutely dominated Leicester for the final 30 minutes and ended up getting the 2 goals to win the game. But maybe that's what they need again here. Xerxes trying to run forward, brought down. Referee said no foul, but United have it back again with Fernandez. Xerxes stays on the floor, and Fernandez's shot from a long range effort easily retrieved by Bernd Leno. Yeah, Xerxes there battling. No foul at all there, really. This looks like he went over a bit clumsily there, Joshua Xerxes, and Bruno Fernandes picks up the pieces. Ends up having a shot from about 25-30 yards. Comfortably saved by Bernd Leno. Simple little dive. As He sends that one long, Leno. Header won by Delo. Chested down by Pereira. Feeds it wide for Anthony Robinson. Smith Rowe. Pereira. Bassey. Much better from Fulham. Berger. Smith Rowe on the turn. Down the left channel for Robinson. It's keeping the ball moving at the minute, Fulham. No real massive hurry to get the ball forward. Bassey finding Castagna. Down the right it goes. A Wobie. Flicks it on. Trying to go with a 1-2 link up with Andres Pereira. Well closed off by Delo down that side. Fernandez on the turn. A reverse ball. Complete blind pass. And goes out of play for a Fulham throw-in. It was better from Fulham again as Smith Rowe space to charge forward here. Plays it down the left. Robinson with a cutback. Muniz with a flick and Smith Rowe. Oh, Onana there. Just about got enough to it to keep it out. For a second it looked like it was going to sneak in off his fingertips. See it again. Smith Rowe with a nice ball wide to Robinson on the overlap. Cuts it back across and Muniz with a track back. Or cutback, sorry. Gives it back to Smith Rowe with a low and hard effort. And he just kind of gets his hand to it, Onana. And kind of palms it away from goal. But just enough to keep it out of the net. Again, far from convincing, but he did his ultimate job. Didn't kept the ball out of the back of the net. Certainly not confidently, though. Much more exciting from Fulham that time. Again, it just looks not easy, but it just looks like whenever Fulham want to go forward, they're carving through Manchester United and not looking under any duress. And they know exactly what they need to do, whereas they don't often need to do that because they're winning. But when they do want to go forward and attack Manchester United and maybe try and sneak a second, they just look comfortable. So good on the ball, and that's what they were missing in the first half. That just sheer dominance of ball control. Really sloppy, not on the same page, all a bit dazed in the first half, I bet, Fulham, and playing these angled passes, those big telegraph balls across the field, and they just weren't working. When they're in tighter spaces, much more intricate with their passing. They've been a lot more threatening and a lot more comfortable on the ball. 25 to go. And it's still Fulham who lead here at Old Trafford. Bassey. Just give it back to Anderson. Now Robinson. Smith Rowe left that one. Muniz got a flick on, but too far ahead of Pereira. Now Maguire. Mazraoui. Pushed and prodded. Mazraoui there, and fairly from Anthony Robinson will be a throw-in to Fulham. I think they're going to make a stoppage here at the moment. The referee so we do have a stoppage due to, of course, the starting of Ramadan, allowing those players who, of course, celebrate and respect the rules of Ramadan to allow them to get some fluids and end their fasting when the sun goes down. And we do have that stoppage in play for the moment, allowing those said players to grab some fluids, and maybe the rest of the players all get a little break as well for the moment, but of course for religious purposes, obviously. Well, one more game in round 5 to come after this one tonight. We're at the City Ground tomorrow one of the Premier League high flyers, Nottingham Forest, take on one of the relegation battlers in Ipswich tomorrow. 7:30 kickoff, a bit earlier than normal for an evening game, but 7:30 is the kickoff time for that one, and we will of course keep you very up to date with that one. By then we'll know who the winner of that game will play in the quarter-finals. Of course, the draw being done after the final whistle here. Fulham, one of the best Premier League away teams this season. Only Liverpool and Arsenal have more points per game away from home this season than Fulham. 1.7 points per game on the road this campaign. And so far, with a quarter of this one to go, they're certainly showing that. They've lost just 3 games away from home of their 13 Premier League away games this season. 6 wins, 4 draws, 22 points. Changes for Manchester United. They're going to make another double change. Rasmus Højlund and Christian Eriksen being replaced by Casemiro and young Chido Obi Martin. Well, Chido Obi is what he will go by. So Obi and Casemiro on for Manchester United, replacing Christian Eriksen and Rasmus Højlund. So having to go to the bench again, United, to try and re-energise them, to try and win this game. That's a lovely flick on by Muniz, and Pereira made the run in behind. He's free here. Andreas Pereira in the box, jinks past his man and not given the time to shoot. Well, that was very aggressive from Matthijs de Ligt, and he came out winning the ball cleanly. Andreas Pereira trying to dribble his way past the man. Absolutely sent Victor Lindelof for the shopping there, really. He sent them flying. And Matthijs de Ligt, with a really good recovery tackle, comes sliding in to deny Andreas Pereira a shooting opportunity. And goes for a Fulham corner. Might have hurt himself in the process there, Matthijs de Ligt. Feeling a bit of pain afterwards. And a corner for Manchester United to now defend. That's where the goal they conceded came from a corner. This will be Fulham's 5th corner of the match. Pereira, right-footed. It's much deeper. It's headed away. Onana got a hand to it as well in there to get it clear, as Joachim Andersen was the one retreating. As Fulham recycle the ball back to Lukic. Smith Rowe gives it just back to Bernd Leno, who will consolidate. Absolutely thumps it long though. De Ligt winning the header. Casemiro bringing it down. Delo had to come infield to collect that ball, a little bit short from Casemiro. Xerxes now finds Garnacho wide. Trying to use their pace. Garnacho, lovely little flick on. Dalot looking for the cross. Good header by Robinson to get it away, and Pereira tries to send it up the field. Well won by Lindelof. Finding Garnacho. Better from Manchester United. Garnacho goes wide. Dalot with a low cross. Fernandes! Once again rescuing Manchester United. Low and hard and into the far corner. And the Manchester United captain gets them back on terms once again. A moment of magic from their captain has given them a bit of life in this FA Cup tie once more. The individual quality bailing Manchester United out of trouble time and time again. Really nice play down the left side between Garnacho and Dalot. And Dalot cuts it back again. There's a threat from those crosses from the left side all day. And Dalot, bobbling ball, not dealt with well enough by Fulham. Maybe on the back foot. And Dalot's cross, perfect for Fernandes to hit first time, and it was always curling away from Bernd Leno. Sweet strike. And Bruno Fernandes with a bit of a lifeline for Manchester United as they're back on terms. 1-1. the eternal hero for Manchester United. It's his first FA Cup goal of the season, and that's a big one. A very big one. It could have just reignited Manchester United's hopes at a moment where they really haven't been at their best in this second half. But maybe the same as Fulham, taking their chance when it came. And now Fulham may be the victims of their own passiveness, really, in the second half. The fact they didn't want to push for a second. Well, now they're going to have to. As Pereira goes for the cross. Absolutely thumped away in the box there by Manchester United. Out for a Fulham throw. And now we have about 17, 18 minutes left of normal time for a winner to be found. A lot of time to find it. Iwobi cuts it back to Castagna. Has to go back to Joachim Andersen. Delivers wide to Iwobi again, who crosses into the box, and the cross cleared away. Robinson over the bar. Certainly not a right footer. You could tell from that shot, albeit not awful, but Iwobi's ball into the box. I think was it Sander Berger that made the run. He squared it across first time. As it was cleared away, it fell for Anthony Robinson to hit. He was always going to hit it. No one can blame him for trying to hit it, but left a lot to be desired from the finish. Goal kick. That's got the crowd up inside Old Trafford. That goal from Bruno Fernandes, as it would do. Maybe it just gives them that extra little bit of confidence that they can turn it around and complete the job. As Joshua Zirkzee gone down here. Yeah, maybe a bit of a... Just a bit of a collision with Sander Berger. Not much in it, but just a bit of a collision. Reminder for you that if we're level after 90 minutes, extra time and penalties will be used to decide a winner. It's just a fabulous finish by Bruno Fernandes. You know, we talk so many times about first-time finishes and how hard they are to get perfect. You have to time it to absolute perfection. And the sweeping effort is just really fabulous. And it was crying out for that, you know, from Manchester United's point of view. That the real rescue job, the real moment of magic, the moment of brilliance that they have relied upon. There's no question about that this season. They have relied upon those individual talents. And it was Bruno Fernandes in this competition against Fulham in 2023 that rescued the comeback once again. They came from 1-0 down in that one. United to win 3-1. Albeit they were kind of helped along the way by the fact that Fulham went down to 9 men in that game. In a matter of minutes, Willian and Mitrovic both sent off in those games, or in that game. Bruno Fernandes with a penalty, Marcel Sabitzer with the second, and then Bruno Fernandes sealed the deal in the 96th minute to send Manchester United through to the semi-finals. So we're going to restart the game. Drop ball to Manchester United. Less than 15 minutes to go of normal time. Long ball by Maguire. Headed away by Robinson. Berger brings it down. Squares it into midfield. Now finds Lukic in space. Now wide to Castagna. Iwobi. Iwobi's ball in behind. Munith made the run, brought it down in the box. Munith! Toe poked it, but it took a deflection. And it goes for a corner. I had the chance to have a shot at it. I don't know. Lovely ball by Iwobi. Munith brings it down the first time and then comes off the kind of right hip of De Ligt. Falls to Munith again, who can get a toe to it. And Maguire just gets ahead of him Puts the ball behind for the corner. That certainly had the Man United fans on the edge of their seats. Certainly had me on the edge of my seat as a neutral. As Pereira to deliver this one from the left side. Right-footed. It's a deep and high one as Anderson keeps it on the back post but heads it over the bar. Onto the roof of the net. Shot of the travelling Fulham fans. A bit quieter than they were about 10 minutes ago when their side were leading. Oh, that's a giveaway by Manchester United. Smith Rowe. Lots of bodies getting back. Robinson. Bassey. Now to Anderson. Back wide it comes to Anthony Robinson. Spotting the run of Pereira. Header won by Maguire, but the follow-up one back by Berger. Now Lukic. Wide it goes to Iwobi. Iwobi will cross again. And Pereira couldn't get on the end of it. It was good work from De Ligt to head it clear. Now Casemiro. Evades the trouble. Fernandes with a fizz ball forward. Headed away by Bassey. Berger with a flick on. Fernandes again trying to fizz one. Beautifully taken down by Garnacho on the turn. Alejandro Garnacho! The bobbling effort right into the hands of Leno in the end. Looking threatening right up until the finish. As Fulham want to come up the other end now. Robinson down the left channel. Fernandes ahead of him. Finds it in field to Smith Rowe. Now Lukic wide to Iwobi. Alex Iwobi cuts it back. Pereira will strike with a whipped effort high and wide. Well off target. Former Manchester United player Andres Pereira, of course. The Brazilian joined Manchester United in 2015. Had a few loan spells until he left in July of 2022 and joined Fulham for £8 million. Certainly didn't have the most illustrious or flourishing career at Old Trafford, but not many have in recent years. So he's certainly not on his own in that category. Certainly done quite the opposite at Fulham since joining 2.5 years ago. Ten minutes to go. And we're all square at Old Trafford. Fernandes almost gifted that ball right back to Fulham. Got lucky that the pace just carried it back into United possession as Maguire darts one to the left channel, finding Garnacho again, takes a run on against Castagna, gets to the byline, Garnacho, and Castagna got a foot in to put it behind for the Man United corner. You can feel that energy inside Old Trafford. It's just trying to carry Manchester United over the line, as they've done many's a time in the past. The atmosphere inside this stadium trying to carry their team to a victory. We have a corner to try and help them along their way. There's certainly a few threats for Manchester United from this type of situation. Fernandes will deliver. Right-footed. Away at the near post by Anderson. Not convincingly cleared as Iwobi has to help out. Ball in the air though actually puts Fulham under more pressure. And Beneath does well, and Smith Rowe sends it towards Iwobi. They're going to have a stoppage here as Joachim Anderson's down and is kind of holding his neck or his jaw, one of the two. The referee stopping the game instantly to check if he's okay. See it again, it was Obi. The young substitute from Manchester United kind of just caught throat of Joachim Andersen with his left arm. Joachim Andersen is okay. It's maybe just caught him off guard, that stray left arm. He's okay to continue, and he will take the drop ball here for Fulham as time continues to dwindle away in this FA Cup tie. And at the minute, we're no closer to finding out who will be going through to the quarter-finals between these two teams, the reigning holders or the side that were knocked out of the quarter-finals by said opponents 2 years ago in Fulham. As I said, have only got to one FA Cup final in their history, and they lost to West Ham in 1975, 50 years ago. Be some story if half a century later they get to their second FA Cup final and ended up turning that result around and winning it. That's a fairy tale yet to be written. Smith Rowe back to Bassey. Robinson, wide it goes. Pereira, lovely ball, finding the run of Smith Rowe in the box, trying to turn away from Fernandez, and as he tries to cross it, he ends up slipping and sending it out for a goal kick. Certainly added a little difference in the dynamics of the way Fulham have attacked in this half. Smith Rowe added that little bit of extra ball control in the final third, and certainly has added a little bit more of a threat to their attacking quality. Not bearing the fruits of such improvement so far. As Fernandez sent that one flying out under pressure. I gotta say, no matter what happens, it won't go down as a vintage FA Cup tie, I can tell you that much. There'll be no one in 50 years' time crying out for a highlights reel of this match. It'll be one of those games that will be remembered for the result rather than the game as itself, because it has certainly been lacking in quality for the vast majority of it. As the famous chorus of John Denver rings around Old Trafford, trying to rouse this Manchester United team up. And De Ligt there has to take evasive action against Anthony Robinson for the throw-in. 5 minutes of normal time to go, plus the additional. And if we're still level after all that, we will go into another 30 minutes in the form of extra time. Robinson to take the long throw. Headed away by Maguire, brought down by Xerxes, cleared away by Fernandez. Bassey was battling with Obi, and the last touch came off the young Manchester United player, and it will be a throw into Fulham. Robinson will take again. Bassey. Andersen, finding Castagna. Iwobi under pressure. Alex Iwobi, and Andersen had to send that one far and long, away from danger. Under a bit of pressure there, Fulham. Man United trying to take advantage of it as Garnacho kept that one in play. Casemiro's first time ball, blocked out by Sasa Lukic, and he had the final touch, which he is arguing against that decision, but that's what the officials saw. See the replay, whether they got it correct or not, the officials. And I think he might have been right, Sasa Lukic there. I think Delo had the last touch on that one, but nonetheless, here's De Ligt. Mazraoui. Infield he comes, finding Casemiro. Nice for the angled one over the top, into the channel. Xerxes well blocked off by Bassey. And Berger on the reverse. Andersen Left channel now for Robinson. Infield to Smith Rowe. Better movement of the ball from Fulham. Lukic gives it wide to Iwobi. Alex Iwobi scored a late winner here against United in April of last year to win a Premier League game. Here's Smith Rowe now. Robinson, who will deliver it in. Headed away by Maguire. And cleared well by Fernandes. But Fulham will recover again with Anderson. Back to Leno. Fulham, at the moment, maybe looking the more likely of the two to try and find a winner. Looking a little bit more inventive in the final third. Certainly applying a little bit more of attacking pressure. Bassi. Space and time to try and find a pass. Lays it off to Pereira. Wide it goes to Robinson. Field to Pereira, a little bit overhit, but Bassi came and commanded the area. Now finding Iwobi, who dribbles his way out of trouble. A little pirouette in there that helped him break away from the United press. It's Fulham in Manchester United's half at the moment. Man United in a flat back five. That was given away by Smith Rowe. Well won by Casemiro. And now the chance to counter. Xerxes. Poor ball. He'll get another chance at it though. Castagne dealt with it again. That was a little better. Dalot striding forward. Finding Xerxes. Under pressure. Xerxes went down. And is going to get the free kick, I believe. In a good area. That's much better from Joshua Xerxes. Sasa Lukic, the one giving away the foul. And a chance for Manchester United from a set piece here. Yeah, nicely worked by Joshua Xerxes. Shielded the ball. And as Lukic tried to win it, took out Joshua Xerxes in the process. Free kick to Man United. Last minute of the 90. Time running out for a winner. Bruno Fernandes on the set piece. Try and change the course of this game for the better for Man United. The ball in. Maguire with a header. That one far less threatening than the one against Leicester. Easily gathered by Leno. Robinson though caught in possession. Bassi away. Robinson with a little flick. Pereira sends it round the corner trying to find Muniz, who was battling and tussling. Got the better of Fernandes there, but had nobody to pass it to but Casemiro, although there's going to be a stoppage as Andreas Pereira's down holding his head, which the fans are a bit frustrated by. The fact that the referee had to stop the game when they were in possession, Manchester United. As we will have 8 additional minutes. A lot of added time. And Pereira down at the moment, might delay that a little longer. As it stands at the moment, we're not going to be playing just 8 more minutes. We might be playing another 30 minutes on top of that, if it stays as it is. It'll only be the 3rd extra time occasion of the rounds. Bournemouth Wolves and Newcastle Brighton, the only other 2 games that went to extra time. The other games were settled inside 90 minutes. Villa, Crystal Palace, Preston and Man City all winning inside 90. And Pereira is on his feet again. I don't think he'll be coming back on though, because Fulham are readying some changes. Raul Jimenez and Willian, who returned in the January window. Willian, they're going to be the 2 that are coming on for Fulham. And Andreas Pereira and Rodrigo Muniz are going to make way So Munoz and Pereira coming off, and Raul Jimenez and Willian, the two coming on. So some fresh attacking legs for at least the next 7 minutes or so, before we could play another 30 in extra time to find a winner. Still time for a winner to be found inside the two halves. Although we've not played a single of the 8 added minutes, we've already played, well, we already went through 2.5 of those. We're back on the way, and we might be going to 100 here before any call of extra time. Bassi under pressure with his first touch. Second touch actually worked out well for him. Took it away from danger. Berger in space. Sander Berger, lovely little arrowed ball out wide. Finding Iwobi, who's trying to cross it. Well blocked. Back there by Diogo Dalot. It'll be a Fulham throw. Castagna taken infield by Berger on the turn. Tried to get past Casemiro, who nipped in perfectly. Trying to find a counter. Find Garnacho eventually, who was pounced upon and had the ball stolen away from him again. Now here's Smith Rowe with space to roam. He's got runners ahead of him. Smith Rowe maybe trying to go himself. Blocked out and cleared away from him as Casemiro goes long this time. First time, but that time nowhere near a Man United player. Robinson. Sander Berger. Are we up for late drama at Old Trafford? Either way it might come. Fulham, their only win against United in 15 years. Given the 97th minute winner here just over a year ago. Could they do it again? Because here's Alex Iwobi. Cuts it to Smith Rowe! Oh, great save by Onana. Really good effort by Emil Smith Rowe. It's good work by Iwobi, making the nice run in field. Laid it off, and Smith Rowe trying to angle it like Bruno Fernandes did a bit earlier with a sweeping effort. It was curling away from Onana, but he got his fingertips to it, and it's just parried wide for a corner. That's a very good save at full stretch, just to direct it wide. Fulham get a corner, which Willian will take. Headed away at the front post by Xerxes. Out for the throw-in. That was Fulham with a big chance late in this second half, and they're still trying to push for a winner. It's got to the point where are we thinking Man United will just want to hold on for extra time here? I wouldn't recommend it, but they've already got injury problems, Manchester United. A long list of injury problems. Throw in there taken. Smith Rowe tried to flick it on first time. Intercepted as Casemiro finds Xerxes. Skip past one, brought down in the sliding challenge by Anderson. Maybe a bit too aggressive that time as he get a yellow card, Anderson. And Fulham were going to win the ball back anyway. Didn't really need to make that challenge as they had surrounded Xerxes and he'd nowhere really to go. Joachim Anderson making sure he had nowhere to go and ends up getting himself a yellow card. So 2 minutes of the 8 officially, but we might have more of that due to the actual fact that we had a delay at the start of added time. So we might be going another 3 or 4 minutes. As Man United might have their chance to win it here. Dalot with the ball in. Oh, Xerxes made the run. Bassi got the header away. Willian. Now Castagna trying to find a runner. Nicely taken down by Robinson, who will try and get on his bike down the left side. As he tried to lay it off to Willian, it was intercepted well. Mizraoui. But the urgency about the game now. Fernandes. Trying to find Xerxes. Again, header well won by Castagna, but it sent Bassi in an awkward position, and Obi in the box. Obi! Snatched at it. And it's Kept alive, it stayed in at the far side. Garnacho lifts it in. And too high. And out the other end. Forget about Obi-Wan Kenobi. That was fantastic work from Cheetah Obi. How he kept that alive, and if the finish was there, that would have been some goal. Well held on to by Bassi, but just tried to manoeuvre around him. And he got the shot off. And he put it well wide. In the end, fabulous endeavour to keep it and try and find that shooting chance. And now Leno will have the goal kick. Time running out for a normal time winner. Iwobi keeps it alive. Now on the turn. Here's Smith Rowe. Space for Fulham to break. Down the left channel finds Anthony Robinson, who whips it in a bit high. Delo clears it away. Jimenez battling to keep it alive. Berger. Jimenez with a header. Away by Lindelof. And Casemiro trying to measure one as Fernandez absolutely sends it flying. Right back to Bernd Leno. 8 minutes are up. It's up to the referee now. How long will be added on? I'd say another minute or so at least. With Pereira being down at the start of the added time, and then the substitutions that were made. So there's still time. Bassi finding Willian. Not really many options for Willian. He does give it wide to Robinson though. Infield to Smith Rowe. Round the corner finds Berger. Okay, Man United planting everyone but Obi back. Making sure that they can't overrun. Iwobi fed wide, finds Castagna on the overlap. Castagna's cross. Again headed away by Mazraoui this time. And Obi with the first touch. Well shielded by Anderson and Bassi now. Out wide to Robinson. 99 minutes gone into the 100th minute. Delo's header clear. Castagna keeps it alive. Flicked on. Blocked by Delo. Fed it infield to Casemiro. Right the way through Obi. Lays it off beautifully to Xerxes. Gets past his man and Xerxes. A chance for Garnacho in behind here. Very tame. Very, very tame. And Bernd Leno got a hand to it. And it was far from a rocket from Garnacho. Still time as the throw in taken. Very quickly. Mazraoui goes back the way. They have to pump it forward here. Casemiro goes long. De Ligt brought down, and the shot sent wide by Obi. And that might be that for normal time. 100 up. There was always going to be some chances. And there it is. Normal time done and dusted. 100 minutes later. And they still cannot be separated. See this again. Yeah, Garnacho in behind. Really good chance. Really good effort. It was a bit too tame. Had to put more power on it. And Leno with a simple enough save down to his left. He had to parry it away from danger. And that is the way it ended, really, in normal time. Because after 100 minutes, not 90 minutes, 100 minutes, it is finished at Old Trafford. Man United 1, Fulham 1, and we've 30 minutes of extra time to come your way. Do stay with us. Welcome back to FA Cup Live. So 90 minutes done and dusted at Old Trafford, and as I said, neither side could be separated. Fulham with the only goal of the first half, finding the lead through Calvin Bassey, and Bruno Fernandes, the hero, the rescue again to score the equaliser for Manchester United. In the second half, neither side could find any further of a goal, and we will have another 30 minutes of extra time to come in a moment. And then if they still can't be separated by that point, it will go to a penalty shootout. One round 5 game decided by a shootout, one decided by extra time. Brighton winning in extra time through Danny Welbeck, and then Bournemouth knocking out Wolves through penalties. So 2 games already decided by this format. You always love it when we go to extra time and penalties. I'm not a big fan of extra time, but penalties, on the other hand, massive fan. Who doesn't love a penalty shootout? But we have 30 minutes, 2 15-minute halves to play before a possible shootout here at Old Trafford. Manchester United got a last-second winner against Leicester to head through to round 5. They weren't afforded that same chance again, and that same gift again in round 5, and Fulham will be taking them all the way, and certainly not giving them an easy task and trying to keep their defence of their trophy alive. They've still got a number of rounds to go after this, remember. The quarterfinals, semi-finals and then the final. So 3 more rounds before the possible defence of their title is complete, Manchester United. Certainly not made easy work of it this season. Penalty shootout win against Arsenal in round 3, and then that late last minute winner against Leicester in round 4, and now we're going to extra time again in round 5. They're going to make a change here, Man United, so they've already made 4 changes. You're afforded an extra substitution for extra time, but they're going to make that change already. Aidan Heaven is going to be coming on, and he's going to replace Harry Maguire at the back for Manchester United. So their January signing, Aidan Heaven, is on to try and bring some forces from heaven to try and carry Man United through to the quarterfinals. Oh, that was unnecessary. That was really just unnecessary, really. We're about to get on the way. Of course, 2 15-minute halves for extra time. Very rare that we get winners in extra time. That Brighton one, first in a long time I've seen a winner in extra time of a knockout competition. Forgot the word there. Fulham certainly had their chances late in the half. Man United probably had the last chance of the half in the second half to try and win it, but neither could do so. And now we will play extra time at Old Trafford. And maybe, if we still don't have a breakthrough, penalties might be necessary. Here is Willian. Try and get Fulham an early start here. Robinson to Berger. Sander Berger trying to drive in field. Well matched all along the way by Xerxes. Has been a lot of Fulham, a lot more aggressive in the second half. They were the one, despite Man United scoring, they were the one probably looking for another goal towards the end of the half, a lot more intently than United were. Here's Raul Jimenez breaking down the lefts. Fernandes in a battle. No foul, as Fernandes fairly won the ball back off of Raul Jimenez, who was on the floor. Well, that ball angled into space was easily won back by Castagna. Sometimes a bit of a wasteful ball forward from Manchester United, just into an area rather than to a teammate. Just giving Fulham the ball back time and time again. Smith Rowe with a heavy first touch. Kept alive by Bassey though. Now Robinson down the left channel, finding Willian. Linking up with Smith Rowe, who was well closed out by Mazraoui, and Delict clearing his lines. Man United can't get out at the moment. Robinson has it back. to Anderson and now Bassey. Bassey. Anderson. Around the corner that from Berger into Iwobi. He tries to go first time into the box, and as it came across, De Ligt sent it right back where it was delivered from. That time Iwobi gave the ball away to Xerxes, finding Casemiro, and the ball over the top looking for the run of Garnacho, who got away from his man, and Garnacho hit the side netting from the narrow angle. Again, that run's been on. Casemiro's played a couple of those balls, especially towards the end of the second half, and that time Garnacho latching upon the end of it, getting the better of his man in Castagna, and just too narrow of an angle. Leno had it covered even if it had to find the target. And now restarting it, they've given it away again, Fulham. De Ligt finding Lindelof, back to De Ligt again. To Mazraoui on the turn, flicking infield, finding Xerxes on the turn. Short pass, that one to Dalot, given away. A bit of space here for Sasalukic on the right hand side. Again, not in a hurry. Fulham just building patiently with their possession. Anderson goes long, right to that left flank, and too much to find Anthony Robinson. Well, an interesting stat. We talked before the game about how Manchester United fare better when they've less of the ball. The stats read that too. United have enjoyed over 50% of the possession in 11 domestic matches under Ruben Amorim. Won just 3 of those games, drawing 2 and losing 6. That was a 27% win rate. But in the 8 such games where they've had less than 50% possession, including this one, this afternoon, they've recorded 3 wins, 2 draws and 3 defeats for a marginally better win rate of 37.5%. It's not a massive difference, but there is a improvement when they have less of the ball. Not that it's been the perfect potion to success. And one of those, actually, previous games where they have won with less possession, was the penalty shootout victory against Arsenal in round 3 of the FA Cup. And they've had overall, over the course of the game so far, 40% of the ball, Manchester United. Less of it in the second half. They had 45% in the first half, 38% in the second. So less of the ball in the second half. And so far, in extra time, they've had 21%. Just giving you some interesting stats. You know, keeping the interest peaked. Because let's be honest, extra time is not a 30 minutes that is filled with drama or filled with action in front of goal. Both sides are a little bit more, not passive, but a little bit more aware of the consequences of conceding, because you concede, you have to score. I mean, that's obvious, but you know what I mean. You'd rather try and rescue to a penalty shootout rather than risking losing the game and trying to win it in extra time, in a sense. It's all about finding that balance. If we do go to a penalty shootout, Fulham have history. Certainly in long penalty shootouts. They still hold the record, Fulham, of being involved in the longest penalty shootout in history. 35 penalties taken in an 18-17 win. Mental. Absolutely mental. Penalty shootout a number of years ago. Fulham were involved in that. Bassey there. Fouled by Matthijs de Ligt. Free kick to Fulham. Bassey will take and play across to Joachim Andersen. 6 minutes and 48 seconds gone of extra time. 1-1. There's Lindelof here. Back to Onana, who's under pressure. Sends it long. Takes no risks. Lukic there. Tried to bring it down. Couldn't keep the possession though. Delict. Casemiro. Tried to reverse pass. Got out of trouble. Robinson, nice dink ball into Sasa Lukic in the midfield, who's on a run here. Lukic out to the right side, no one anywhere near him. Iwobi. Castagna infield to Berger. Well, Bruno Fernandes's goal was his 12th goal involvement in his last 12 appearances in the FA Cup. For Manchester United, he scored 8 and assisted 4, including that one that he scored in the second half. He's only failed to register a goal or an assist in 2 of these 11 games, and the Portugal midfielder scored twice when United last met Fulham in the FA Cup, rallying to a 3-1 win in the 22-23 quarter-finals. Of course, they went on to the final that year. Lost the final. Here's Willian. Stepping away from trouble. Lovely little ball, finding Iwobi. Alex Iwobi tiptoeing towards the box. Back to Willian. Again, swings it out wide, looking for the overlap. Castagna with the ball in. High and away by Delict. Brought down by Berger. Lovely little skill to break away from Casemiro. Wide on the left comes Robinson. Up against Mazraoui. Anthony Robinson trying to go for the cross. Well blocked by Mazraoui. Kept alive as Robinson gets it in. Cleared away by Dalot. Only as far as Bassey though. Berger whips it back in. Jimenez with a little header. Dylan Lindelof there. Far from convincing. But his keeper was there to bail him out. And Onana got the catch. Couple of decent moments there for Fulham. There's no one in there to try and throw themselves at the ball. Here's Xerxes. Tried it in behind. Again, Calvin Bassey closing it out, although Willian far too loose. And Fernandes's through ball just came bouncing off the foot of Obi, who was in the box. You see it again. Fernandes, lovely little through ball, but Obi just couldn't take it on the move, and the heavy first touch let him down, as Fulham are going to make another substitution. They've a few more bodies on the bench than Man United. They've only made 3 subs so far, Fulham. 2 at the 1 go. So Sasa Lukic is going to be coming off, and he's going to be replaced by Harrison Reed. So a straight swap in midfield for Fulham. Reed coming on for Lukic. Had a lot of involvement today, Sasa Lukic, in the game. Certainly been a true warrior in that midfield of Fulham. Going to be replaced now by Harrison Reed. No shortage of experience from the 30-year-old. Throw into Manchester United on the right side here. Mazraoui is the one that will take. Tiptoeing. Little rondos there from United, and Fernandes brought down. In the process of that, going to get a free kick. See it again. Xerxes on to Fernandes, and as Jimenez tried to win the ball, it was already gone by the time he got there. Just clipping Bruno Fernandes. It is a foul. Free kick here. Wide on this right side. A very good distance out. Around about the halfway line. Fernandez fizzes one into the box. Header on. And well wide by Aidan Heaven. Willian on the move. Lost the track of the ball as now here's Casemiro. Finding Xerxes. Squares it across. Obi on the turn. Wanted a foul. Not going to get one from the referee. He was adamant. There was nothing in that challenge from Anderson. Mazraoui. At least they're asking questions of Fulham defensively. Manchester United as Bassi came across there and won the throw-in off Xerxes. The Man United man arguing the contrary. And the officials made their mind up. See it again. This foul, or the claim of a foul. It's not a foul. Yeah, Joachim Andersen really well defended there against Obi. Heaven. All the way back to Onana. 2 minutes of the first half of extra time to go. Still 1-1. Fair share of half chances. The two sides. Fulham slightly the better of them, I would say. Again, not making the most of them. As Obi and Mazraoui tried to link up there, and as Mazraoui was destined to try and win the ball, Calvin Bassi once again puts his body in the way and ends up going to the ground and winning Fulham a free kick, as they've taken quickly. Robinson. Willian. All the way back to Bassi. Takes his time. He's in no hurry. Well, I would have to say sorry to any Fulham fans about the stat I am about to read out, that United have progressed from their last 9 FA Cup ties against Fulham since suffering a 2-1 defeat in the quarter-finals in 1908. 117 years ago was the last time Fulham knocked Man United out of the FA Cup. 2-1 they won on that occasion. It's the fourth time Fulham are facing the holders of the FA Cup, being eliminated on each of the 3 previous occasions against Newcastle, West Brom and Man City, and losing by big margins. So Nana goes long with his kick the last couple of seconds in the first 15. We'll see if there might be an added minute on the end of here. There will be 1 added minute at the end of the first 15 of extra time. Still we remain at 1-1, locked in the depths of extra time here at Old Trafford. It's much better from United there. Casemiro in behind. Obi snuck through. Obi! Good save by Leno. It's almost like he wasn't there. Like he was invisible. And Fulham certainly didn't spot the danger. And Obi snuck in behind. And from the narrow angle tried to curl it past Leno, who got a strong left hand up into the air to carry it over for the corner. Good save, but a very good attempt. Fernandez to whip the corner in. Cleared away, not fully defended as De Ligt's shot was well blocked. Fernandez to whip one back in with bodies in the box. Xerxes takes it down. Already played that minute. Xerxes still going here. Will finish this attack to maybe finish the half. And Jimenez tracking back. Fernandez with a flick. Cleared away as that's the end of the first half of extra time. Man United ending the better of the two teams, with Obi with surely the best chance of extra time. And at the end of the first half, still 1-1. Nothing to separate these two teams still. Welcome back. Second half of extra time at Old Trafford on the way in just a moment. Still 1-1 between the two sides, and Obi with clearly the best chance of the extra time so far to try and win it for United. Leno with a very good save. Reminder that the quarter-final draw will take place shortly after the conclusion of this game at Old Trafford. We'll have the full details of that for you to find out the winner of this one, who they will play in the quarter-finals. Then our final round 5 game is at the City Ground tomorrow as Nottingham Forest take on Ipswich in an all-Premier League tie. 7:30 kickoff there on the banks of the River Trent. Right. Second half of extra time on the way in just a moment. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications. 15 minutes between a possible penalty shootout for the second time for this campaign for Manchester United. The first went their way, of course, obviously, otherwise they wouldn't be here. Of course, against Arsenal, and that late winner against Leicester in round 4. Certainly making hard work of it in the FA Cup this year, Manchester United. Late goals and penalty shootout wins. An extra time now. So 105 down, 15 to go. And still, they cannot be separated. It will be Man United attacking the Stretford end in the second half of extra time. They didn't get that chance to do it in the second half of the normal 90. But maybe the Stretford end can conjure up something magical again for Manchester United in the second half of extra time. We'll see. Here's Sander Berge finding to Harrison Reed, who does really well. Finds it off now to Raul Jimenez coming off the left and feeds it through for Smith Rowe. Back to Reed, who was just blocked off. But the flag was going up anyway. I think maybe against him as Smith Rowe, but that was a good move by Fulham. And it all started with Harrison Reed playing a nice ball out wide to Jimenez, who played it in behind for Smith Rowe, who's just offside and cut back just behind Reed. The flag was up against Smith Rowe. Even if it had to find the net, it wouldn't have counted. It's good work from Fulham. Right up until the offside, obviously. Man United ended the first half of extra time the better. Fulham starting the second half of extra time with more energy. Although Xerxes has it here. Finds Garnacho. Garnacho! Well, high and wide. Which results in major frustration for the Argentinian. He given the ball, chopped onto his right foot, and he tried to angle to the far corner. Would have taken some strike to find that. As Fulham are going to make their next change, will be Ryan Sessegnon, who's going to be coming on. He scored in the midweek game against Wolves. He's going to replace Alex Iwobi. So Iwobi off and Ryan Sessegnon on. Joined for a free from Tottenham in the summer, did Ryan Sessegnon. 24-year-old, scored his first Fulham goal in midweek against Wolves. Got his first Fulham assist in the last round in the 2-1 win over Wigan, setting up Rodrigo Muniz for his first goal in that game. So recent good involvement. Although here come Manchester United. Fernandes. Wide it goes to Garnacho. Into the box. Garnacho cuts it back. Casemiro not given the chance. Fabulously won by Willian. And now Fulham want to counter themselves. As Robinson was denied that chance by Matthijs de Ligt. And the ball actually stayed in play from that challenge. Lindelof taken out as he was played the pass. Man United, the advantage here. Long ball in behind. Xerxes brought it down nicely. Lays it off now for Obi. kind of collided with a body. Still going here, Obi. Finding Casemiro. And Bassi came across and got it well clear. Back with Robinson it comes. Brought down by Jimenez, who was shoved over. No foul, just a throw into Fulham on the left side. That added a little bit of energy to Manchester United that last minute or two. Still, nerves jangle, and we're on a knife edge at Old Trafford. 11 minutes of the extra time remain. Here comes Willian. Down the left side, finding it down to Ryan Sessegnon on the right. Into the box he comes. Sessegnon! Good save by Onana. And the clearance from Diogo Dalot. It's got a bit end to end. I don't think either side won a penalty shootout, it seems. Here's Sessegnon. Once again. Dragging it past one. Tried to get in the inside of Dalot, but was crowded out. So here's Casemiro. In a bit of bother, gives it away very cheaply. And now Robinson with the ball wide on the left side. Goes for the cross. Whipped in. Headed away by Heaven. And Mazraoui. Poor clearance. Although given away cheaply there by Santa Berga. Now Xerxes. On the turn. The last touch off Joshua Xerxes there. Was hoping for a throw, but not going to get one. See this again. Big chance for Fulham here. Willian with a nice ball. Fed wide to Ryan Sessegnon. He ticks on his man in Dalot. And just the chop inside. Absolutely perfect. Stepped across. And had the shot straight away. Good effort. Good save by Onana. Here they come again with Sessegnon. On to his left again. Lays it off to Willian. Back to Reed. Wide again it comes. Castagna feeds it through. Sessegnon to try and keep it alive, but couldn't keep it in play. And Heaven watches as it goes out for a goal kick. Onana with the goal kick. Goes long with this one, Andre Onana. Kept in by Dalot with a flick on. Harrison Reed getting his head to it. Sessegnon couldn't keep it alive. Here's Fernandez. Nice little turn by Mazraoui. Gets away from his man and Robinson cuts it back for Casemiro. He saw his name in lights, but was blinded in the end and put his shot well wide. Got a bit excited there, Casemiro. He's got a wide option. He's got two wide options. He's got Garnacho to his left and Obi to his right there. If he could have fed one of the two of them in. Decided to shoot himself and decided with the wrong option, clearly. Jimenez there. Thought he'd got the better of Victor Lindelof, but the referee spotted a push. Free kick to Manchester United. Casemiro. Lindelof. Heaven. Casemiro. Cross to Lindelof. Now Delict. Switches to the left side. Garnacho on that left channel. Here comes up against Sessegnon. Garnacho into the box. The ball bobbling. Fulham getting it away through Joachim Andersen, and now Smith Rowe wants to charge. He's got Willian on his left, takes that option, finds Willian. He comes back in field with the ball. Goes to the right hand side, finding Sessegnon. Keeps Fulham on the move. Sessegnon overlapping. Was Castagna who goes across. And the clearance by Heaven puts it out for the Fulham corner. Certainly much more threatening in the second half of extra time. Both teams throwing a bit more caution to the wind. It's been a lot more end to end the last 8 minutes. We've still about 6.5 to go. And Willian is coming over to take this corner. Fulham's 8th of the game. Calvin Bassey scored Fulham's goal from a corner at this end in the first half. Willian to deliver, right-footed, all the way through again. That time, though, Obi done just enough to carry it away from Calvin Bassey. And Calvin Bassey deemed to have committed a foul in the process there as well. So free kick to United. Again, the corner, a bit lucky from Man United's point of view that Fulham didn't have a major threat in there. That was, again, really poorly dealt with. Taking a long time here, Onana, to take this kick. Long it goes. Flicked on by Xerxes. Delo was battling. Couldn't win it. Throw in now to Castagna. Anderson. Bassey. 5 minutes of extra time before a penalty shootout will be needed to decide the winner. Jimenez. Down the left channel, there's the space. Finding Smith Rowe. Overlapping is Willian. Here is Willian. Gets the cross in. Away by Delo. Brought down by Berger. Bit wide as Robinson keeps it in play. Finds Willian. Got a bit tangled as Xerxes comes away with the ball. Joshua Xerxes beaten to it as Robinson tracked back really well, although he given it away again on the turn. Xerxes taken out by Robinson. Bit of frustration from the Fulham captain there. He's going to give away a free kick and get a talking to from the referee, Stuart Atwell. Great recovery on the first one. For the second one, he had no intentions to win the ball, just ticked the man out. And that he did. Another set piece for Bruno Fernandes to try and find something with here with 4 minutes of extra time to go. Delivery into the box. Not cleared away. It's brought down and Reid got it away eventually. He's kept alive there for a second. Fernandes will deliver again. Lindelof making a nuisance of himself there as it's not cleared away fully. Anderson brought down by Berger. Looking for the space, finds Harrison Reid. Now laid off. Robinson, wide to Willian. Willian going for the outside of his boot, trying to find Jimenez. Cleared away again. Bit too loose that from Willian. Given the chance for the counter, and that was Bassey committed. Luckily he had Anderson behind him, because that would have been an open net chance there for Manchester United if he wasn't. As Bassey gives it back to Leno. There's a sheer composure about Fulham at the back in the last few minutes. Not constantly trying to pump it forward. Also trying to mix it up with keeping the possession and building up from the back. With a little bit more tempo behind it as Willian down the left for Robinson, back to Willian. Switches to Sessegnon. Castagna to Berger. Berger through, finds Harrison Reid on the turn. Harrison Reid goes for the cross. Jimenez brings it down in the box, lays it off to Sessegnon, tried to cut inside, not given the chance to shoot, and cleared away. And now Garnacho's on the move, on the counter-attack. He's got Berger for company, and Berger does really well and seeing Garnacho out of the pitch there. That was another threatening moment for Fulham from the cross. It's where they've looked most threatening all night, from crosses. And once again, it caused a threat Sessegnon tried to cut inside, not given the chance to shoot on that occasion. As we'd still 90 seconds at least of extra time to go before a shootout. Castagne. Back to Anderson. Is there one more chance? Surely there is. There always is. Harrison Reid finding the space for Sander Berge, who will strive forward. Berge, nice intention, finds Willian in space. Out wide it goes to Robinson on the left. Beats his man at the front post, gets the cross in. Cleared away by Aidan Heaven. Xerxes tries to be the angle. Gives it away to Robinson. Has the support of Bassi. Jimenez brought down and is going to get a free kick. Given away by Nasir Mazraoui. Jimenez in the last minute of the 119 minutes. That's a dangerous free kick for Fulham. Mazraoui fully committed. A bit too eager to win the ball that occasion. At such a late stage. And a set piece for Fulham in the last minute of extra time to try and win this game. Willian, at the fine young age of 36, to try and whip this ball in and be a part of something special for Fulham. Willian, right-footed, will go direct, and far too easy for Andre Onana, who might get one more chance as the 30 minutes are up of extra time. One added minute. 120 minutes are up. We've just one more minute to go. Garnacho spinning away from trouble. Still got a Sia White in front of him. Can he rescue something? As the cross cleared away by Bassi. It will be a United throw. They're in the right area. Can they find that magic moment? Diogo Dalot with this throw-in. It will be a long throw-in. Try and get as much as he can, although the referee has taken the anticipation out of that, really. We now will take the throw. Dalot, as long as he possibly can get it. Headed away. Reid. Now Willian. Is there one last chance for Fulham on the counter-attack here? Willian, not major amount of speed. He's got red shirts tracking back. Great challenge by Casemiro. Although the referee disagrees with that. I thought he'd given a free kick. That's the end of it. That was very strange. The whistle wasn't quite clear. It looked like a free kick, but that is it. A penalty shootout will decide the winner. 121 minutes played. Probably more than that, actually, because we had a good 10 minutes of added time at the end of normal time. More than 2 hours played here at Old Trafford, and still there was no separation between Man United and Fulham. It's finished 1-1 after extra time, and we will have a penalty shootout to decide the winner. The defending champions of the FA Cup against a Fulham side who've carried them all the way to penalties. That's on the way next. Welcome back to Old Trafford as we're into tie 7 of 8 in round 5, and it has gone all the way to penalties as it did in round 3 for Manchester United to try and bypass Arsenal. In round 3 they will have to do the same again from another London club at Old Trafford this time to try and get to the quarter-finals. They are doing it the hard way to keep this FA Cup their trophy and defend their win last year at Wembley. They're doing it the hard way. 2 penalty shootouts and a last-minute winner. can they win this shootout to go one step further, or will Fulham be the real making of the downfall of United this season? Already 6 teams decided. We've taken a long while to try and decide the 7th, but we will have a decision very, very shortly as to who will be heading through to the quarterfinals. The draw, of course, for the quarterfinals will be done directly after the result of this game, and we will have the full details of that for you shortly after it is completed. Of course, we've still one tie to decide, so we will have an either-or situation there for you. But Nottingham Forest against Ipswich tomorrow, 7:30, and we will round up all of the round 5 results and what the quarterfinals have in store for us when that comes around. Right, where the officials are ready, the players having their last chats from their respective managers before the shootout. Bruno Fernandes awaiting on Anthony Robinson, the other captain. So we will do the toss for the shootout. Of course, obviously the 2 tosses that we do. Who wants to take first, and what end do the penalties want to be taken at? Of course, as I said, Man United are already successful in a penalty shootout in this competition this season. So the referee now will do the toss for the shootout, explaining the proceeds or the process to the 2 sets of captains. United win the toss on the first one and get it at the Stretford end, so the penalties will be taken at the Stretford end. The second toss will come, and I think United won the toss for the second toss as well, and I think they'll go first, it looks like. So they will have the advantage of the crowd and try and have as much advantage of trying to go first, Manchester United, as the referee will now talk to both goalkeepers, explaining the details of this. Anticipation building, of course. And it's going to be Bruno Fernandes. He's going to step up first. So he won the 2 tosses to give Manchester United as much of an advantage as he could for this shootout. Now he's got the ultimate chance in taking the first penalty. He takes a long, slow walk towards the penalty area. It's Bernd Leno, who's made a couple of good saves in the game. This is when they will count the most in a shootout. And Bruno Fernandes, ever so effervescent with his penalties, ever so reliable from the spot, has the chance to give Manchester United the perfect start in the shootout. They've got the Stretford end, they've got the first penalty. Can they take advantage? Bruno Fernandes stepping up to open up the shootout. The first for United is scored by Bruno Fernandes. Goes to the far left, right into the corner. Leno died the opposite way, and Man United 1 up. Very good penalty, right to the far left corner. Even if he did dive the right way, Leno, he was never saving that one. Lovely penalty. And now Raul Jimenez has a mixed history with penalties, but this season 5 out of 5. This will be his biggest one though in the shootout to tie it up. The crowd trying to distract Jimenez with a little run up and makes it 1-1. Lovely penalty, same way as Fernandes, and the keeper went the same way as Leno, and the same outcome, 1-1. Yeah, really confident penalty from Raul Jimenez. That's the sign of a man who scored all of his penalties he's taken this season. Both off to a confident start Now Diogo Dalot is going to take a penalty. He wasn't involved for a vast majority of the third round game when he was sent off against Arsenal. Maybe a chance to make up for that, maybe. Who knows? To give United the lead again. Dalot! Lovely penalty. Again, the keeper dived quite early. Leno. And Dalot confident enough to put it into the opposite corner. Yeah, Leno dived to his right. And Dalot sent it down the right corner. And once again, Fulham trying to level it up. Sander Berger stepping up now. Pressure at its peak as Sander Berger steps up. Let's try and level it again. Oh, what a penalty. Some penalty that was. Right into the top corner. That is perfect. He dived the right way, Onana, but two goalkeepers wouldn't save that. Wonderful penalty. 2-2. Next up, Casemiro. So United's third to be taken by the veteran Casemiro. Four of the very best so far. Here comes the fifth. Casemiro adds to the list. 3-2. Penalties certainly of the top quality so far. All five taken. All scored. Didn't find a corner. Just absolutely rifled it. Leno with little to no chance there. He dived, but even if he didn't dive, I don't think he would have saved it with the sheer ferocity of that penalty. One veteran takes and scores, another steps up in Willian. And he will try and do the same. Willian up against Onana. Absolutely rolls it in. Lovely. Sheer confidence from Willian there. Clearly had his fair share of shootouts. Certainly won the mental battle there. The calmest penalty of them all. Next up, Victor Lindelof for Manchester United to take their fourth. All six have been scored so far. You don't want to be the first to miss. As Victor Lindelof steps up for Manchester United. And saved by Bernd Leno. The first penalty to not find the back of the nets. And Victor Lindelof fluffs his chance to give United the lead again in the shootout. Advantage Fulham. Nowhere near good enough. The keeper dived the right way, but even if he hadn't, if it wasn't a great penalty from Victor Lindelof. Nowhere near the corners. And now Anthony Robinson, the Fulham captain, has the chance to give Fulham the lead in the shootout, to keep their scoring record in the shootout going. Lovely. Onana dived out of the way of it. And the Fulham captain calm and composed. It's now must score for Manchester United, or they're out. That is... talk about composure. Onana absolutely nowhere and trying to save that one. And now it's Joshua Zirkzee. Alright, really. Scores and they keep it alive. Misses and Fulham head through, and the holders will not be defending their trophy. Joshua Zirkzee to step up, must score, and it's saved. Manchester United, the holders, are out of the FA Cup. They will not defend their title, and at the hands of Fulham. Incredible. For the first time in 117 years, Fulham have knocked Manchester United out of the FA Cup. Old Trafford coming to haunt United again. Forget about the theatre of dreams. It's the theatre of nightmares for Manchester United at the minute. Fulham are in dreamland. They're through to the quarter-finals. And Manchester United have fallen at the hearts of a penalty shootout. Xerxes in tears. And Fulham, absolutely incredible. They fought to the very end. They probably were the better side overall. And that's the way the penalty shootout comes out. 2 missed penalties from United, back to back, from Lindelof and Xerxes, ends Manchester United's FA Cup run. After penalties, it finished 1-1 after extra time. Fulham win 4-3 in the shootout. And there you are. Fulham head through. Only the second away team to progress from the 5th round. Brighton did so earlier on. And the 2 sides that met in the 2023 final, their campaigns are done and dusted after today's action. Brighton and Fulham heading through. So, that's it from the FA Cup 5th round this Sunday afternoon. We'll be back for the final tie tomorrow as Nottingham Forest take on Ipswich in an all-Premier League tie. The draw for the quarter-final will take place very shortly after the final whistle, of course, has now sounded at Old Trafford. Man United out, Fulham are through. So Fulham in the hat. They'll be ball number 4 for the draw. And we'll have the full details of the FA Cup quarter-final draw for you very shortly. And as I said, tomorrow our final tie of the 5th round sees Nottingham Forest host Ipswich, 7:30 tomorrow evening from the City Ground. But that's it. The holders are out. They will be holders of this trophy no longer after May. And a chance for someone else to lift this trophy. Surely City will be the favourites. But there's a long way to go before any of that's decided. Fulham have knocked Manchester United out of the FA Cup for the first time since 1908. Night night.